And it's not about who helps you the most. It's about who can serve your clients best.
Yeah. It's not a question of I can or I can't buy. It's like I can, but it turns out my options aren't as great as what I thought they were. I don't know that I've ever been to a house that had no redeeming quality.
I've seen a few lately.
I mean, like,
no, I
just
know what
nothing.
Yeah,
like, oh, this yard is a great size. Oh, your dogs are going to love it here. Got to be something you can latch on to. You also don't want them to give up. Just because you can't buy right now doesn't mean you can't buy with a little bit of work. It also doesn't mean you necessarily need to wait out the market.
I don't want the decision made off of emotions or fear or uncertainty. Like, I just want them to be sure.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly.
We're Alissa and Katy, two active realtors in the Baton Rouge market. We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy. Let's start.
Let's just do this.
Start.
Welcome to episode 362. So, you want to buy a house, but you can't.
Or it's just really hard.
Really, really hard. You know, actually, it makes me think about how I feel about sellers. You know, I think they can just list your house and it's bing, bang, boom, so easy. I'm like, it's work.
It's so much work.
But truly these days, for the buyers, it is also requiring some work.
I know. It's really hard right now.
It's really hard right now. But as a first-time buyer, let's go way back to when back in the day, remember? You had to have 20% down.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't around during that time.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I've been around 20 years.
Sad.
But like, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s. That was just normal. You didn't get a loan. Now, houses were also like
$20,000.
Yeah, $40,000.
Now that's the down payment.
Right.
Yeah.
You used to be able to buy a whole house.
Right.
Why are we talking about this?
I have a few right now, buyers that I am helping and we are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sad every time I have it's really my younger first timers that I'm feeling the most for because they are sending me their pre-approval letters and I'm looking at their monthly notes and I'm going, this is like close to what I pay
for my much more expensive house.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I just can't. I am having a hard time wrapping my head around these monthly notes.
The reality of affordability.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It is so expensive.
Yeah. So when I started in 2005, 2006 was my first full year. It was very barely pre-bubble burst. Mm-hmm. And rates were in the sixes.
Okay.
What they are now.
Yeah.
And my average sales price for the 16 transactions I did in 2006 was $110,000.
Wow.
And now the average price in our market or the median price is like closer to 300.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So your money didn't get you as far as it used to.
Mm-mm.
At all.
No.
And that means you have to be kind of creative sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to have a plan. Raise your hand if every other realtor on Instagram is talking about how AI is changing their business and you're over here like, cool. No idea what any of you are doing.
Hand fully raised. No shame.
Same. Here's the thing. AI is not going anywhere. The agents who figure this out now are the ones who are going to have hours back in their week, while the rest of us are still copying, pasting listing descriptions like it's 2019.
Which is exactly why Katy is hosting a brand new monthly Claude class inside of our Hustle Humbly community.
We're starting at the very beginning, like how to even navigate the thing, and working all the way up to skills, projects, and co-work. And I'm building done-for-you skills you can drop right into your business and use that day.
So whether you're Claude curious or ready to become Claude confident, this is your spot.
It's already included in your community membership. No upsell, no extra fee, just show up.
If you're not in community yet, you can head to hustlehumblypodcast.com and come hang out with us. We'd love to have you.
Don't get left behind on this one, friends.
This is also where not having your one favorite lender is so important, because we, just did the episode on vendors and what you should look for, and it's not about who helps you the most, it's about who can serve your clients best.
Yeah.
And if you know that there are lenders out there doing, grant programs in your area, or specialized like zip code programs at certain local banks, like you need to know who is offering what in your market, so that you can tell your buyer, look, these are the lenders we need to talk to, because they may offer some support and help that we could use
for sure
during this house hunt.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what any of those programs are, I would reach out to some lenders and just say, hey, I am trying to put together a list of resources that might help a first-time home buyer. Do you have any specialized programs or grant programs that you're aware of that I could help share?
Right, because even grants expire, or they have a cap, or they change from year to year. So it's not just like once you've learned it and you're good. And even specific banks change what they're offering based on what their goals are as a bank.
Yeah.
So you have to keep asking around, and you also have to be really tuned in when lenders are out there with a new program they know is different than everyone else. They will call you, they will email you, they will show up at the classes at the board, they will send out flyers. You kind of need to read all that stuff.
You do. It's kind of like when a lender sends a newsletter that's about market news and stuff like that. You don't really care about that.
Yeah.
But you do care when they get to the part about, do you have someone in law enforcement? We have a program for that. Do you know a teacher or a medical worker? We have a program for that. It's like these are the things that you need to know.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to educate your clients on what their options might be.
Yeah. Like even here, and I'm assuming it's probably a nationwide program, Regions Bank, which is a huge bank, offers the 100% doctor loan for those doctors that have incurred these ginormous student loan bills, who are finally getting out into the workforce. And so the Regions will give them a 100% loan.
Yeah, they're like, you don't have a lot of savings, but you have the income. So I have a special program for you.
Just for you.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes your first-time buyers may be in that case, they could be in a totally different price range than a regular first-time buyer.
Yeah.
But they also don't have a lot of cash on hand. And they're like, I like to buy a home now that I've got a job. Yeah.
Well, a little bit of a story. I met with this young couple a few months ago. We met at a coffee shop to do our buyer consultation.
Okay.
And it had been a long time since I had really sat down with a first-time home buyer that was like, I don't know anything.
Okay.
Like, educate me.
Right.
And it was really fun. And then at the end of it, we're going over numbers, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and send you to this lender I know that works mostly with a grant program. I want to see if you qualify. I'll send the email, copy y'all on it, and let her know what we talked about today and what we need to know the most.
Okay.
So I introduced them to the lender and just said, I've copied them on this email. I know you'll need to take an application to answer the questions below, but these are the questions that came up in our consultation. So then I see they're chatting and filling out applications, and I get the email back, and she's like, they're good to go up to like 240. And I just went, oh, gee. I mean, I guess I knew it was going to be
low.
And I say, yeah, I mean, it's been a minute since I looked around in that price range. Yeah. And the neighborhoods that I used to go to for first-time home buyers that just in 2019 were like 175 are now like 250 just to get in the door. And I'm like, but those neighborhoods.
Those were the bread and butter of those.
Those were the
first-time buyers.
What is the new 220 neighborhood? Is there one? And like, there's not.
No.
And it's almost like you just have to find the right house and decide if you're okay with the location.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit rusty because all of a sudden after our consultation, I was getting like multiple text messages. And I was like, remember, I need you to email me these addresses.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep up with all these text messages. And I realized she's just, if it's in her price range, she's sending it to me. And I was trying to guide the conversation and be like, look, I know you said you work here.
Yeah.
Both of you do. We might need to focus on an area.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, but if the house offers what we're looking for, we don't mind driving. And I'm going, oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'm just thinking about it as a business decision.
Yeah.
Like, can I handle them? Do I have time? Summer is here. I'm doing the best I can with my other clients also.
Yeah.
And this is taking a lot of time.
Right.
And will, at the same time, be like my lowest paycheck. So I'm like doing all this work. And it's not about just the money. It's a business decision. Like time, money,
right.
effort. And so but I'm committed. Like at this point, I have done so much work. I like them. They're coachable. She immediately started emailing me instead of texting me.
Perfect.
I have a search set up, but this girl, she is emailing me before, like, it's like the MLS emails me, and then 30 seconds later, she emails me.
She's like, I've seen it.
I know. And I'm like, dear Lord. And I'm going through so many property disclosures.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, this one is priced this way because it flooded. This one is priced this way because the flood insurance is $3,000 a year. This one is priced this way because the roof is broken. This one is priced this way because
there's a hole in this house.
Yes. And I am just weeding and weeding and weeding. And it has just been, I just got them under contract.
You did?
Yesterday.
Oh. Wait, are these the people who are going to buy my listing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now what am I going to do with my listing?
And your listing is so much better.
Oh, why they couldn't wait another week?
But
I like them having
this.
Happy. I'm
with
glad they're happy.
But
I'm so glad they're happy.
I'm so happy.
Well, you haven't done your inspection yet.
Well, I am very curious to see
how it goes.
How this inspection
All right,
goes.
well, let's go here. They got in their price range.
Mm-hmm.
Did they make compromises based on the beginning when they started their search and what they finally settled on? Did they have to change area that they wanted? Or like, were they actually having to change their standards? Did they lower their standards?
They didn't really have to.
Okay, good.
I almost felt like I needed them to have a few more standards.
Because they were just like, whatever.
They were like, if it's in our price range, we want to see it. And I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
We need at least 2 bathrooms.
Right.
Yeah. And then I got to the point where I was like, remember when we looked at that house that was 1,300 square feet and you said, this is way too small?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, this one you just sent me is 1,100 square
Even
feet.
smaller.
So we know this one is not going to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm having to
remind
because it's not necessarily that there's a lack in their budget.
Okay.
But and then it's funny because I'm going through this right now. And at the same time this weekend, I got an email from an agent that was like, hey, Alissa, you don't know me. I live here. I have friends that are wanting to buy something in Baton Rouge for their son who's going to LSU. Would you be willing to like help them out? And I do this all the time. I'm like, sure. Well, he's like, okay, I'll send over the referral agreement. So I'm like, okay, great. So I sign it. And then he's like, okay, well, their budget is max $200. They really want a detached house. And I'm going, why did I?
But that I can't, this is things I cannot do.
I know. And I'm like in the thick of it. So I'm very familiar with
you're
this price point right now. And I know that the options out there are going to be very tricky, if even possible at all. But then so my lesson that I just learned is, why didn't I respond to this referral and say, before I sign anything and you introduce me? Because he like copied me on an email, introduced me.
We're in it.
And I'm like, dang it, Alissa. Like you should have just.
Now you have to break the bad news.
I know. And I sent them, I was like, okay, well, we need to like have a talk about the market here. And they like, the referrer sent an email introducing me, copied the parents and the son. Okay. Son responds, great, Alissa, I have a list of houses I'd like to go see this weekend. And I'm like, that's awesome. Let's take a step back. I said this nicely in, an email, but I'm like, I need to know who your lender is, if you're pre-approved, how much the closing costs
Yeah.
are, what that monthly note looks like, what you're looking for in a house. I don't even know
Yeah, your
what you're looking
specifications.
for.
Okay.
And then I said, if you want to send me the addresses you have saved, I would like to pull disclosures because here in Louisiana, we have to check flood zone.
Mm-hmm.
We have to check flooding. There's a bunch of things we have to check. And then they're like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about any of this. And I'm like, yeah. It's going to be like, they're just so excited.
Which is fair.
And they don't even think about.
Look, we don't want to rain on everyone's parade.
Right.
We want to still be able to be excited, but we have to be realistic and thoughtful because we're giving you advice based on making an investment.
It reminds me of when I was brand new licensed and was interviewing different brokers, and like I was learning that everybody wants you. So they're all just cheery and happy. And you're like, wow, I would love to work at this office. But then I went to Connie's office and she's like, do you have money saved? Do you have a business plan for those first tough years where you're not really making money? Like, what is your plan? And I was going, oh, okay. But I wasn't like upset. I was just like, this is good. This is interesting. I had no idea I needed to think about these things. And I think that's a big reason to my success. And so it's like we need to be preparing our clients that are in that first-time home buyer price range or just a tricky price range.
Anyone that shows up that wants to buy you have to take all those same steps back that you took with this person
100%.
And be like, okay, let's back it up. One, did you talk to a lender yet?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I need to refer you one? We have to start with numbers. Period, point blank.
Right.
We cannot even think about, I need 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, blah. No. Let's start with the numbers because then you're going to be able to say, well, with these numbers, you can't get a 5-bedroom home anywhere in this city. You know, like it's just, this is not going to happen. So you got to take it back to there. I think we say it a lot with our sellers, it's never too early to meet, but I feel like it is the same with your buyers, right?
Yeah.
Because if they get that first pre-approval, and even if they called you and said, well, I don't want to buy for a year, don't you tell them to go ahead and talk to a lender?
I'm like, well, what if there's homework you need to do that we don't know about?
Exactly.
You might need to set a savings goal that could take a year or 6 months. Like, we need to know the big numbers now because we don't want to wait till you have 45 days to get in something to learn you have to save this money.
Yeah, and sometimes there are credit score issues that just literally take time to solve. And if you've got a year out or maybe you didn't know you had them, you can get a plan from your lender that says, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and by this date, it should be solved. Lenders are able to do a rescore.
Yes.
So they can say, okay, today you came in and you did your pre-approval and your score was 610. But you've got this collection or this balance on your credit card or whatever. And I'm going to do and put in my little magic and be like, you say you can pay this credit card down to 30% balance. Let's do the little magic. And then it tells you the rescore if you were to do what you say you're going to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then they can say, oh, well, now you're at 6, you would be at 650 and now you'll qualify for XYZ loan.
Yeah.
Or XYZ rate or whatever. So I think it's important that you're really encouraging your buyers to look at that first in case they have credit homework, savings homework.
I had a friend call me that said, look, I have a girl I work with. She's so smart. She's so brilliant, but she's a single mom. She really wants to buy a home. She has no idea if she can. I said, well, I have a lender who does not mind slowing down a minute to talk to someone.
Yeah.
You know, if she wants to fill out an application, I can introduce them and we can at least get a game plan together. And she said that would be great. So I get her information. We talk on the phone a few minutes. And then I said, look, I'm going to email you and copy the lender.
Okay.
So I do that and I tell the lender up front, listen, she is not ready right now to purchase a home.
Yeah.
She would like to purchase a home in the next 2 years. She would like to understand where does she need to focus on?
Yeah.
What are the goals here? So when you pull her credit, it's not really for a mortgage application. It's more for guidance. And look, when you're in a real bind, there are credit coaches out there. But that's like
I
don't
want to, one, I don't want to speak to it, but
Okay,
two, a
same.
lot of them are actual scams.
There's a lot of scams out there, and they cost a lot of money.
Thank you. The other problem is that even if they aren't a scam, they charge you money to tell you how to save up the money to pay off the thing when you could have just taken the money you paid them and paid off the right thing.
Yes.
But your lender is going to give you, if you're listening and you're a buyer, find a lender that can help you with this.
100%.
If you're listening and you're an agent, you better have a lender that can help people with this.
And if you ever have a lender that says they don't want to do that or mess with that, they probably don't need to be your lender.
Well, they certainly don't need to help you with these clients that maybe are new, first time, have maybe some issues with their credit or their savings or what. Like, they need a patient lender.
Yeah. So the lender asked the client, are you okay if I copy Alissa on our emails, even if it contains, she's like, yes, please. Like, she's going to be involved one day.
Right.
And I was amazed, like, at the advice given. It was so helpful. She made a list of all the things that appeared, highlighted things, said, if this, focus on this one's not so bad. I would set a goal to save X amount of money in a savings account somewhere, because based on your income, you'll need to use this program, which is this much of a down payment. And I was like, this is amazing.
That's what you need.
The girl was so thrilled. She said, would you mind if my sister filled out an application
Please.
too? And the lender was like, absolutely.
Bring everyone.
And that's the attitude I'm looking for, because the lender's like, I'm going to be working in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
These are my future business. Sort of
right.
like, you want to be the first person, just like us. So it was amazing because they were correct. Neither of them could buy a house today.
Yeah.
We were too far gone. And now we're not too far gone.
Yeah.
We have a really good plan. They know what their goals are, and they're being responsible.
I love that.
It's just so great.
It's really important for you as the agent too, to not get swept up in that they're so excited they can buy, or their overconfidence that they think they can buy.
Oh my gosh.
At every price range. At literally any price range.
I have a terrible story that I will always remember to this day.
Okay.
My best friend from high school, I kind of lived at her house. She had older sisters, and we just all hung out, and her parents were awesome, and I loved them. But her dad was pretty high up at this chemical plant, and mom didn't work. And so I'm they had a big house, and I love being over there. So fast forward, I'm an adult, and the parents called me to help them buy a house.
Yay.
They had moved away to Houston for work and were coming back. And I'm going, in my head, I'm like, okay, Alissa, this was a long time ago, before kids, maybe 2015.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, wow, this might be one of my first bigger sales.
Yeah.
And yeah, the price point was super high. And I briefly and not very confidently was like, do you have a lender? Yeah, we have all of our finances covered. And I'm thinking in my head, of course you do.
Why would you not?
Who am I to question your finances?
Oh God.
I have no money.
I do not like where this is going.
So I showed them all these houses.
Oh yeah, I really don't like where this is going.
I showed a lot of houses. We made an offer on a house.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Or no, we were gonna make an offer.
Okay, now you're like, now.
And I said, I can't submit an offer without either a proof of funds or pre-approval letter. So they're like, okay, no problem. Let me call my banker. Well, the next day he calls me and he's like, we have a problem. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, I did not realize that the money that I have in this account cannot be accessed right now for tax purposes. And that is all the money that we were planning on using. So we're just not going to buy right now. Sorry.
Bye. Thanks for everything.
And man, I went.
Did they ever buy in the future?
No. They never moved back here. No.
And what did you do?
I cried a little, had a lesson learned moment, had to call the agent who I said we would be sending over an offer and be
mind.
I'm so sorry. And I just had to be like, Alissa, this is like a lesson you will never repeat again because it doesn't matter what their intent
It doesn't
was.
matter what they say.
Yeah.
It just, you have to do the steps in the right order.
You have to document everything.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, let's just say this. Maybe he could have actually bought then. He didn't like that he would pay the penalty if he took the money out of the account where it was, right?
It was a very big penalty.
Right. But that is one of the things I think that happens to a lot of buyers. So like, it's not a question of I can or I can't buy. It's like, I can, but it turns out my options aren't as great as what I thought they were.
Yeah.
And those are the people that will put a pin in the search or be like, you know what, never mind. Or maybe I want to change my price range to make it where it does make sense right now. So it's like when people talk about pass-fail inspection. It's not pass-fail, but it's like maybe you can buy, but when you look at that note, you're like,
I don't want to.
I don't think I want to do this.
I had a sweet young buyer call me after going to an open. He wasn't on my radar. We weren't.
Yeah.
I knew him. I did not know he was in the market to buy a home though.
Okay.
And I got this call from him one day on a Monday and said, Alissa, I went to this open house. I absolutely loved it. I wasn't in the market, but now I kind of am. And I went on this website and filled out an online mortgage application and I'm approved up to $400.
Woo!
And that's how much this house is. And I'm excited. I want to make an offer. And I went, okay, wow, we're going to be moving very quickly and doing things a little backwards because I want to walk you through the process and have a little consultation with you. But how did you feel about that monthly note at $400? And he's like, I don't actually know what it was. So I said, okay, can I have the lender's email address? I will copy you on the email and ask all the questions I need to know. Because I had also asked him, do you know how much the closing costs were so we know how to budget? He's like, I had no idea. I just was told.
They just said approved.
I'm approved,
Approved.
Well, after going back and forth, at the end of the day, he was like, I don't want to go $1 above $315.
Okay.
That is where my
comfort
level is. And I don't even know how they would have given me that much money.
Well, they don't care about your comfort.
That's what I told him. I said, well, that's sort of what it is. And so he casually, I guess, he had gotten pre-approved. So we browsed for a little bit, but then he was like, I'm just staying. He owned a home. He's like, I'm just going to stay put for a minute. Like,
yeah.
This is way more than I thought it was going to be.
He already owned a home.
He did. He had bought, I think his parents had bought a home that he stayed living in. Yeah. But he was on title because I checked that.
Okay.
But it was so long ago that the note was hardly anything. And this whole process of seeing what you can get made him go, I'm fine.
It's just not worth it.
It's not worth the move.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to triple my note.
Yeah.
But not really get triple an upgrade.
It's like when it's lateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people.
He could have gotten something a little better, but is it worth it for that cost? Like it wasn't to him.
I think that's what's happening right now. When you talk about that lock-in effect where people are like, well, I have this house with this mortgage rate with this payment. And then I decide I need to upgrade, but I can only really make a lateral move with the same, like it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard.
Have you ever stared at a blinking cursor trying to write an email to a client and thought, why is this so hard?
That's why we created Email Templates, a series of emails written for you by us. Real agents, not AI.
You'll have an email to send your client at each part of the process, so they have all the information they need when they need it.
And you answer their questions before they even have time to ask.
The template package comes with 12 buyer and 13 seller templates, plus 6 supporting attachment documents.
You'll save time, avoid mistakes, and deliver a consistent client experience that leads to more positive reviews, repeat business, and referrals.
Plus, you get lifetime updates, so as the business changes, your system will stay current.
Grab Email Templates 101 at hustlehumblypodcast.com/templates and work smarter, not longer. Okay, what about the buyers that get the advice that they could buy, but they need to do some things? Is there anything else that people need to be thinking about? Or do you put them on a search? Do you do any showings with them in the meantime? Like, what are the rules?
So I tell them, look, while we are figuring things out, we certainly don't need to jump into actually showing a home and kicking sellers out and making appointments.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good idea if we start sending each other listings. I think it's our congrats on being pre-approved email template that says like the rules, and also it says like house hunting is a team effort.
Yeah.
I will send you, I will set up a search, but you know you best.
Yeah.
And you need to send me anything that catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to be learning online for a bit.
Yeah.
And when something pops up that's really good, you're going to be able to recognize it.
Right.
Because we've been watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've been watching.
Yeah.
So as you send me houses and I have to, and I tell them up front, look, the price point you're in, a lot of people are in.
Yeah.
So the demand is real high.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a reason these houses are priced this way.
Mm-hmm.
And if we find one that has a clean property disclosure
Yeah.
in an area that you like in your price range, we will have to move quickly.
Yeah.
So I go through what I check and like why we have to vet each house, and to watch their face and be like, roofs, termites,
all these things.
flood insurance, like
all these things.
All these things I didn't even think about because I've never really been a homeowner before.
Right.
So it's just making sure that they are educated and prepared, because if they think it's just going to be fun, I can tell you my sweet young buyers, they are not having fun right now.
No.
We are walking into houses and the sweet wife goes, I mean, I can imagine it clean.
I can imagine it not smelling like cats.
Right. And I'm going, can you? Because I don't know if I can.
I mean, good.
Yeah. And that brings me to a point I wanted to discuss with you is like, sometimes they're like, this is the one. And you go, oh.
You're like, it is?
This one? And then...
You know, we have that old episode about your poker face.
Yes.
Which
I forgot about that episode.
So important in this context because regardless of the price range, it is so important for you to, while giving good advice, you know, smart investment advice, make sure like the house isn't falling down kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if they are comfortable and happy about the house that they found, even if you're not going to live there.
Right.
But you might have to sell it in the futures. These are two separate things.
Yes.
I don't need to love it so much that I would live in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to feel like it's stable enough as an investment for me to sell it down the road.
Correct.
Those are two different feelings.
And that is what I try to focus on. I try to focus on the facts of, okay, yes, this is a good neighborhood. Yes, this floor plan is okay. The bathrooms are terrible, and this is terrible, but it's with these people not living here and my people living here, it would look a lot better.
Yeah.
I also like to remind people. So when I went out of town, I had to have another agent show these buyers.
Okay.
And it was an eye-opening reminder because she's like, Alissa, these houses are no good. I'm like, you haven't seen what we've seen.
They're all no good.
The ones that you are showing are much better
than the no goods.
So I also use that example a lot with parents at a home inspection.
Yeah.
When a parent comes in and every now and then they're a little disgruntled about, you're paying what for this? And I pull them aside.
Mm-hmm.
I say, listen, you haven't been with us on these house tours. Your son has been looking for a house for a long, long time. We have looked at many, many houses, and this is the best one for his budget.
Yeah.
So unless you're willing to contribute to his down payment, this is his budget.
This is the one.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Best one. And I feel good about reselling it.
Mm-hmm.
It has a new roof.
Right.
And I just tell them why we decided this one was the best. And they're very excited about it. And the inspector today is going to make sure it's safe and we can negotiate repairs.
Right.
And I know your opinion means a lot to them. So
does that work typically?
It does.
Yeah. They're like, oh.
Yes. I kind of like bust them. And then they go, but they forget we didn't just pick one.
Right.
We have been looking and you haven't been here.
Yeah.
You haven't been here for that. You don't know what our options were.
Right. Or how competitive it was just to get this one.
Yeah.
Like if we're trying and someone else is snatching them all up at the same price range.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to match their excitement and to keep their parents excited.
Yeah.
And to keep everyone on the same page, because we're not trying to rain on anyone's parade.
No.
And also, I don't know that I've ever been to a house that had no redeeming quality.
I've seen a few lately.
I mean, like,
no,
just
I know what
nothing.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
This yard is a great size. Oh, your dogs are going to love it here. Oh, look how this whatever.
Yeah,
something. There's got to be something you can
at.
latch onto that you're like, or if you can't figure something out, ask them what they're most excited about.
Yeah.
What do you love about the house?
Right.
If they've gotten to the point of writing an offer, they love it enough to live in it. Or they're just giving up.
Yeah.
But either way, they've made a choice and you have to make them feel good about their choice.
And there's been a time or two where I thought about saying, y'all, I know you want to be a homeowner so bad. This is a tricky time with the rates and the war and the economy and this year. You have a great landlord. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to just stay put until the rate comes down a little bit, until this happens. I had a lender call me recently to be like, okay, he is pre-approved, but unfortunately, like, the credit score is making his monthly note so high.
Yeah.
And I said, is there anything on there that he could pay down or pay off? And she said, that's the most frustrating part, is that he pays everything like as it should, but he always pays it late. And she was telling me that that's just a time thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it except, one, start paying on time, but it's going to take like 9 months to a year
for that to really make
it to make a difference in his credit score, to make a difference in his interest rate. And it's so important that these buyers understand that these choices they're making are impacting their credit score, which impact their monthly payment directly.
Yeah. And
in this situation, he even called me and said, I have some late payments, so my credit score isn't what I thought it was. He said, before I even went through the lender and was just thinking about it, I used the credit karma maybe, to get my credit score. And it said I had like a 700 something.
Okay.
Certainly not what it is.
Oh.
And he was like, I just had no idea that my credit was being impacted that way. And I said, well, it was adding like over $300 a month to his note.
Oh my gosh.
Because of the interest rate difference.
Yeah.
Because I also told her, I'm not used to seeing a rate this high.
Yeah.
And she was like, because he does qualify still.
Yeah.
But it's at a much higher rate. And I just wanted to tell him, like, if you could wait a year.
Did you tell him that?
I did. And he was like, I know, that's a big, huge difference.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he decided to proceed. And I'm like, that's his choice. At some point, you have to say what you need to say.
Give them the option.
I also think it's very good when you're in a situation where you don't like the house, or you're worried about something, or yes, verbalize it, but you need to maybe even document it and say, like, I have one right now where it's listed as a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. The 4th bedroom is not a 4th bedroom.
Yeah.
They have a like shower curtain rod in there for a closet.
Okay.
And I'm like, this doesn't count.
No.
And I said, I am very concerned about resale here and what an appraiser is going to say. And, and they're like, and they said, we understand, we still love the house. I'm like, fine.
You're going to live here.
But I have this in an email.
Right.
And when you call me,
we're going to revisit this.
And, we're just going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's important to document, prepare them so that one day when because you're such a good agent, you're going to get repeat business.
Right. Well, and
they're going to call you.
You also don't want them to give up.
Right.
Just because you can't buy right now doesn't mean you can't buy with a little bit of work.
Right.
It also doesn't mean you necessarily need to wait out the market. I think we're talking about the buyer needs to make changes that will help them buy.
Yeah.
Not I'm going to sit on the sidelines and wait for the rate to change.
Right. Like if in a year your credit is so much better that your buying power is so much better, let's do it.
Yeah.
But once they get started, it's hard for them. Here's what I find.
To put on the brakes.
They go to the lender and they leave there kind of excited because they tell the lender, I want my monthly note to be $2,000 a month. And lender says, okay, great. Well, then your budget is $220. And they go, awesome, I'm approved. Then I show them houses that are $220 and they go, oh, I don't want to live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Are you handy? I ask that question a lot. Are you handy?
Will you be okay here? Let me tell you my story when I bought my first home.
Okay.
I was living in an apartment. I had never even considered buying a home, but I had a stable job and I was like, I make okay money. I had terrible credit when I was in college.
Did you know that?
Probably, yes.
Did you care? Like, was it like a big deal?
I cared in the amount that I didn't want bad credit, but that was the 90s. Like, my parents gave me $0 when I left when I was 18.
Yeah.
$0.
Like, you had to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to pay for my apartment and my school and my whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and they go on college campus and everyone gets like 50 credit cards.
You get a credit card.
Everyone gets a credit card. And I was like, well, I guess that just pays for itself, right? Anyway, so now it's been years later. I've been out of school. I have a job. And I'm like, well, I mean, our rent is not cheap. And I'm like, maybe we could buy a house, And then it wasn't really sure. And then I went and did like a pre-approval. I'm like, well, I started doing like the math. I'm like, I can buy a house. But it wasn't like a slam dunk. You can buy a house and here's the best rate. This was 2005 before the bubble. And I might be one of the only people in the United States who benefited from what was called a subprime loan. I didn't have great credit. I got a 2-year ARM. They were giving these things out like candy.
A 2-year ARM.
It was very common.
So short.
So it was going to adjust in 2007. And that was how they predicted the whole bubble burst because all of these ARMs were going to adjust in 2007.
Oh.
And the people had bought like multiple houses and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I, though, by buying a house, immediately every month I paid that mortgage, my credit just went tick, 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 up, 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 up.
Okay.
Owning the house fixed my credit.
Yes.
Because I paid all my bills on time, I paid my mortgage, and that in itself upped my credit. So when it came time, I just caught it right before that bubble, though. When it came time to refinance, I was able to catch a loan, lower rate, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. I did not have to be one of the many people who had to end up foreclosing because they couldn't refinance. So it got
better for you.
It did.
Wow.
But I, as a first-time buyer, I was like, I don't think I can buy. And then I was like, okay, I can buy. It's not ideal. And also, I wasn't approved for $1 million.
No.
I had to buy a house that was fine, cute little house in a neighborhood I never knew about and never would have chosen.
Right.
But it afforded me to buy this brand new construction, little starter home. And that's the whole thing. Like, if you can just get into the market, then that will build your building. Right. It's an investment.
You have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. So I'm glad that I did. When I did, the timing worked out really well. It could have been really bad. Mm-hmm. But I think for everyone who wants, as an agent, if we keep in mind, if it's this person's goal to own a home and they're okay with the terms and what they're able to buy, then it's good. You've achieved the goal.
Yeah.
The next house, maybe you'll like even more. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. Anything else on you want to buy a house, but you can't?
If it's a house I'm uncertain about, I do try to make sure they're going to stay there for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, you see yourself here at least 5 to 8 years, right?
Right.
Like, we need to do some things here while you live here. That will make it easier to sell. Yeah. So just having those talks, giving them guidance, thinking about the future, reminding them they're going to call you one day. You know? But I don't know what to do about this referral. Okay. My heart sank.
Have you talked to them about the realities?
I just sent them the email back being like, great. I need to know who your lender is. I'll need to
Okay,
do
we're
this.
not there yet.
And
So where
I've
they?
asked at the end of every email, like, call me so we can talk this through, but they just want to email, which is normally my preference. But in this situation, I'm like, listen, I need you to understand.
And the list that the son sent, you looked at?
Not yet.
You haven't seen it yet. Okay.
No. But I'm
well, I
like,
can't wait to hear what happens.
I know. I wish I could refer it, but I think
You can't refer a referral.
I can't refer a referral, and I don't want to go back to that referring agent and
be like, hey, by the way, this is impossible. Bye.
Right. I just don't want to do it right now. But I need to get it done.
That's okay. Maybe this is like what we just talked about in community in our hangout. Maybe you just need a showing agent for this one.
Some help.
Maybe they're going to need to look at a lot of things.
I guess. It's fine.
It's totally fine.
We'll figure it out. It's not that I'm too good for the price point. It's that I know the mental toll and the...
Look, I have had many a buyer in that type of situation where I let them see in person a few houses to where they're like, no, these are terrible. And then I'm like, this is all it's ever gonna be.
This is it.
At this price. Do you want to stop, save more, get a little higher price range? Do you want to go to a different area? Do you want to move to a different state? I don't know.
Right.
Like, this is what this market is only going to give you.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a
there's not
sweet
a secret.
buyers.
Yeah.
Sweet buyers are like, well, where are the secret? Aren't they going to show up and have like a little HGTV home that was really $60,000 and we can just do $10,000 of work and it'll be like the Taj Mahal?
Right.
Like, there's no secret. There's no secret foreclosure. There's no secret fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
There's no secret. And I don't want to burst everyone's bubble from the jump, but sometimes they got to see it for themselves.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, see, this is what, nothing against you. It's just what it is.
Right. This is our market. It's not your fault, but
it's a tough
are you
lesson
okay
to
with
learn.
this, or
sometimes they say never mind.
I know.
Right? Never mind.
I just want my buyers to have the information and the education to make a good, sound decision.
Yeah.
I don't want the decision made off of emotions or fear or
Right.
uncertainty. Like, I just want them to be sure.
Yeah, for sure. I just closed on a buyer that I knew from a long time ago, and one of the two, it was the first house they've ever bought. The other, they've been in a rental for a while, but the other had owned a house previously many years ago. And the first house, they called, and she knew what she was doing. She's very educated. She was like, I was out of town. She's like, we found this house we saw at the open house, and we actually are ready to go, and I'm pre-approved with this person, and we would like to make an offer. We really just want you to write this offer. And I was like,
oh,
I'm not here. I haven't seen this house, but if you say so.
Mm-hmm.
Write the offer. I go to the inspection because I'm back in town now.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
oh, gosh.
Okay. You on the phone, this sounded like such a great house. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. And then the inspection report comes back. Even the inspector was like,
This is terrible. This is terrible.
And the inspection report comes back and she's like, I don't even want to ask for repairs. This is a no. And I'm like, okay, we need to regroup. I thought you were a little more savvy than you are. Nothing against you, but I
thought you had some experience.
No, you can't drive this train anymore.
Like the things that are deal breakers you could have seen walking through.
House number 2, a month or so later, see several houses, but they were the type that were so excited to be buying. Every house was amazing.
I know.
And I'm like, but they're not.
Right.
But let's look at all these other problems that we might have. Get into the inspection on that one, and it is just like foundation and this and that, and it's old, and there's all these issues, and they're like, well, we really love the floor plan. I'm like, that's great. And they're like, we can't do this. Mm-mm. And they surely did put a pin in it for many months. They were like, you know what, this isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. We're going to take a beat. And then they came back around and we found one that was lovely, and they're just so happy with the one that they chose. But I mean, I didn't know if they were ever going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know like how it's going to go, especially when you kind of fail. I'm doing my air quotes, fail the first time around.
Yeah. Like that didn't go well.
They may or may not come back around.
Yeah.
All you can do is put them on the right path.
I had a client, and this is where I think we have to be careful with, we're solo agents, but there are teams out there where somebody else handles the showing and somebody else goes to the inspection and somebody else writes the offer, and like, I need to see this house.
Yes.
With my eyes.
Yes.
I don't even, even if someone I trust greatly did the showing for me, I want to go see it if it's the one they want to make an offer on.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I never in my life, unless I'm out of town, would I be like, sure, I'll write an offer for you.
When I was, last story, when I had Haven, it was like a week before I gave birth. I had someone reach out and be like, hey, Alissa, we want to buy a house. I'm like, of course you do.
Right. You're like,
giving
now's
birth
not
next
the
week.
best time.
I said, listen, and it was someone I knew. I said, listen, I have an amazing agent in my office. I am just going to have to hand you off if you're okay with that. I would still love to be involved. And
yeah.
So this agent, I had a few people helping me. And this one was like a newer agent, but I just assumed maybe a little more trained.
Okay.
So they do the showings and they find a house, and my client's emailing me, oh my gosh, we're under contract. I'm like, great, where? And like, she's sending it to me and I'm going, okay, well, I guess they know it's in a flood zone, and I guess they know this and they know that. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And, Tanner's like, just let them be. You weren't involved.
Yeah.
Trust the professionals and like.
Trust the professionals.
Oh my gosh. So fast forward like 5 years and they call me to sell it. And it was the worst. And the whole time I'm thinking,
why did you buy this
I would have
house?
never let them buy this house.
Yeah.
Like, it had so many problems. Their flood insurance went up every single year.
Yikes.
Which is why they were selling.
Right.
They would have stayed, but the monthly note was going up.
Every year.
Because the insurance was going up every year, and it had all these issues, and I just hated everything about it. And I thought to myself, I have got to
see the house.
It's important.
Yeah.
So be mindful if you're on a team before you're writing, because I think agents are so quick to think about the dollar now.
Yeah. We're not worried about tomorrow's problems.
Right.
I'm always worried about tomorrow's problems.
Me too.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best way to be. Unless you're getting out of real estate.
Yeah. Then who cares?
Fine. That can be somebody else's problem.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
If you're just like, this is my last year, I'm doing whatever I want.
You want to buy this house? Fine. I don't care. I'll never have to sell it.
Sounds good to me. But you know what? Some agents live like that.
I can't imagine.
Sounds good to me.
I have like 2 clients that I can think of off the top of my head that I dread the day they call me.
You're like, no, thank you.
To sell the house that I told them. This is not.
Please don't buy. Look, I literally had one last year. The client was so difficult. They bought a house against my advice. I was like, I don't like this for you. I don't think this is right. Look at all the stuff on this inspection report. It was a really poorly done flip. Like, it's just all red flags. Red flags like everywhere you could look. And they were just adamant they wanted to buy the house, and they bought the house. And then they called me to sell it several years later, and it was horrible.
Oh, no.
Because again, all the things that I said were a problem.
And some things can't be fixed. Like, if it's a terrible floor plan, it's a terrible floor plan. Like, if it has very high flood insurance, it's not going away.
Yeah, there's no fix.
Like, there's just some things you can fix and some things you can't. And I like to remind my buyers of that.
I think that's fair.
Okay, like, yeah, it's a little dirty. You're right. It can be cleaned.
You're right. There are things that are fixable.
Yeah, you love this floor plan?
Even an outdated bathroom. No biggie. You can change it.
You can fix this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have money.
Right. Do you have money? Are you going to do a toast now?
I'm going to do a toast from Wisconsin.
I love it.
Okay, the toast is from Megan.
Okay.
And I wanted to read her intro.
Please.
She said, I became a full-time agent 3 months ago in southeastern Wisconsin after a successful 20-plus year career in healthcare.
Whoa.
The broker with whom I work has a great organizational structure for training and supporting new agents. Our associate sales director in the Lake County office is my designated coach mentor, and she told me about your podcast a few weeks ago.
Wow, okay.
So how nice is that?
Love it.
So this is the toast from Megan to Amy.
Okay.
I would love to toast my associate sales director and office mentor, Amy You tell me. You're better at this.
Oh, Borchardt.
At Shore West Realtors in Wisconsin. I'm in my first 3 months as a new agent, and Amy has been the ultimate sounding board, recently guiding me across the finish line of my very first transaction.
What? I love it.
What makes Amy truly special is her steadfast presence. Lately, she has been navigating some extra family events behind the scenes, including helping her family settle the estate and close on her late father-in-law's home. Despite all of that, she hasn't missed a beat for her agents. She approaches every tricky situation with a seasoned, objective focus, while still bringing joy to the office with stories of her grandkids and tips on the best local spots for food and entertainment. Amy perfectly embodies what it means to hustle humbly.
Oh my God.
And I am incredibly grateful for her mentorship.
Oh, cheers to Amy. She sounds awesome.
Like, what a great mentor to have.
No doubt.
I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much for the toast. Remember,
I hope this episode was helpful.
I hope it was helpful. If you want to toast someone in your office or someone that is doing well, maybe someone that got one of those first-time buyers through to closing, send us a message.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at teen@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.